Holy War is a collection of art that grew out of a period of my life when I didn't really know what the fuck was going on.
Every person that believed in me that passed away is in there. It's not a record that I don't put out that a deaf soul is not in it. You know what I mean? Someone is always speaking to me.
Okay, here's a question. First time you came in to the studio to meet me, you're looking around, you're seeing me and Mike, you're like, what the fuck? And then you heard what was coming out of the speakers. What did you think right then when you saw that shit?
First thing that came to mind, I'll say, is like, first, it's very artsy, I definitely could say that. But it's something different that my crowd might not feel I can attract that. So it's different in the sense that it doesn't look like my normal, but not understanding that this feels comfortable and this feels like this is at home. More or less into the image or the place that I might put myself in, that people think, oh, I wouldn't think he would do this, or I wouldn't think that he'd do that.
I think, it's about this kind of American alienation and like urban decay. And then from it, it's like, it's where dreams go to die, but then we just like cling on to that and refuse to let that dream die. It's like the crumble of a certain reality as we know it, like the social norms.
Yeah.
What we grew up, what we're conditioned to believe in.
Well, that's the thing, is what we kind of grew up on does not really exist anymore.
I don't think it ever existed.
No?
No. I think that's the whole point.
I think the first time I heard the whole thing, looking at everything on paper,
Yeah.
maybe minus who you are and like the track record you've had.
Personally?
Maybe, well, in a good way.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something that should fucking make any sense at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it does, and it's beautiful, and it feels honest, and none of it feels contrived in any way or like
Forced.
it's very, yeah,
it's
supernatural.
When you sent me like the early stuff, it was just like wasn't defined yet, and it was just interesting to see it,
slowly.
kind of evolve into what it is, because there was different stages, the songs.
Yeah.
They're just so different now.
Trying to hear my voice on something that's more synthetic, that was a long process. That took about a year to figure out. And as it like went on, like as I, did that tour, I kind of, it's weird. I don't see any of it. Yeah.
Like
so
anything
I
you
just
do,
feel
it's
like,
just light.
I'm just like standing there. And it's like, everybody can fucking, they're just looking at me. You know what I mean? But as it went on, in the projections, I would learn places to stand.
Right, yeah.
And like use it to light myself, because there was no other lights on stage. The lines between art and reality for me, especially along this project, blurred completely together. Since there was like not a lot of premeditation in this music or in the films.
Did you have a feeling that it would kind of end up looking like this, or like
Being what it was?
Being what it was, yeah.
No. I had no fucking idea what it was gonna be, and I had zero roadmap.
Right.
I only knew I wanted to be away from where I was before. There's like ego built into art. Even though you're always trying to battle ego back. You need enough ego to fucking move through the door, and then once you get through there, you have to like decimate the ego, right? It's like this fucking yo-yo. It was a process of running away from who I was, you know what I mean? Like trying to anyways, like outrunning myself.
To find yourself in this whole different realm.
It's fucked. I mean, it's a crazy sort of state to be in, right?
Of course it is fucked, because it's like you celebrate yourself, and then once you get past the door, then you stab yourself.
Exactly.
And that's how I am. I want to like really feel the crowd. I want to be in the crowd. I want to have the people leave and feel like, damn, like I felt I didn't waste my money. Damn, this guy was up here sweating. Damn, this guy was doing this. Damn, this guy almost did a backflip. I need them to really feel like I gave this shit my all because I'm that much passionate about the music. And I'm the person that attract the opposite. Like I like doing the unorthodox shit or whatever the guy that's outside the box. That always been me. Like I never wanted to follow the trend and do what everybody else wanted to do.
Outsider art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, outsider art is less disposable. Because if it's different, it has a place in history. It started as, you know, a late night pastime hobby, something to take my mind off of the pressures of, you know, waking up in the morning and trying to tie your shoes and all the hard shit in life. There's a quote, and I don't know if it's Miles or if it was Coltrane or someone like that, and someone asked him, like, what's that song about, man? He got off stage or something, and someone said, what's that song about? And he said, jazz doesn't tell you a story, it tells you your story. And that kind of made me feel less alone as a person who tries to create shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it takes pressure off of like an overwhelming task of distilling whatever fucking experience or message you're trying to convey, if you're trying to convey one. It takes pressure off of that instantly. During that process, there was plenty of time to reflect on what in the past had not worked or what I thought didn't work. Shit you should never think about, you know? Shit you should never really contemplate. You should just move forward, but everyone does it. Everyone looks back. And I didn't really revisit any old material, but I just kind of, in a general sense, came to some conclusions about what worked for me and maybe what I thought was like lacking. And what I thought was lacking was a more complete story and kind of building a world around music that isn't maybe always easy to access or easily accessible to, you know, the uninitiated. As I started doing this music, we started making movies at the same time. And not with any sort of like real narrative or anything. It was kind of just like experimenting with imagery and what kind of shit we could get away with.
I mean, I can't speak for others, but I'm talking about like what we've managed.
Yeah.
Like our peers, us. Like if we manage to create nothing into something, like that's already a really clear indication
Yeah.
of what you're capable of. So
Yeah.
why should we limit ourselves and think that this is as far as we can get and I gotta play with the game? I gotta play the game because otherwise I can't.
You get shut down.
You get shut down.
You hit a point where you're like, Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, am I really achieving what like when I was 13 in my bedroom and I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking do something so sick. And like, I'm sure everyone who's creative or just everyone has that moment in their life where they're like, you know, I'm gonna fucking be something, man. You know, I'm gonna be somebody.
I'm gonna really jam, man.
Either way, everyone has their own path. We're all looking for the same.
Yeah.
We're all trying to
Flow
reach
state.
that source, you know.
The
Whatever.
flow state. It made me feel like, oh, cool, I could actually try some of these ideas and dreams that like I just kind of never even considered a reality.
We didn't have this shit, you know. Like we had to like
Create something
from nothing, you know. So that's why, like, I can relate to that. It's like you don't want to give up that dream, you know.
I do know.
It's all we have. But then I also know that it's not the answer.
What is the fucking answer?
I don't know. I just know, like,
I mean, there's no alternative.
I'm about to find out. You know?
You think so?
Yeah. It's like there's something out there that's not this.
People die every day.
Of course they fucking do. Of course they do. I mean, I'm just speaking from my own because, you know, I was in a band for 20 years, right? And my band member, we were tight since 4th grade. We had sleepovers and shit. That's how far. You know what I mean? Like that far back. Like asking his mom permission to like go on the balcony so we can smoke joints. That shit. You know what I mean? And last year, he got cancer. It took his legs, it took his spine, and I had to go all the way to the end with him. You know what I mean? Like I never had to do that before. I've had people die. I'm in music, dude. You know what I mean? So like, you know, when you're in this shit, people fall. You know, that's natural. But I never had to
Go through it with a person.
walk someone down all the way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, that's harsh, man.
I flew out there with 70 songs, you know, or 70 instrumentals that we kind of cut down from the 300.
That's insane.
And then set up a mic, and then I just started singing on all of them, one after another, every day. It's weird because all of it is based on reality, and none of it is based on reality because it's purely a journey through subconscious action to me. That's really what it is. You know, you're getting signals and you scribble them on a wall, and it's a subconscious reaction to your reality. That's how I pretty much do music at this point. Like there'll be this cachet of words that I collect.
Right.
As the world turns and then
Slash falls apart
all of
before
it.
our very eyes.
All of it. Honestly, most of the time I'm just like stealing beautiful shit that people say.
You have to be free.
Right? That's what gives you the true like look into yourself. It's a contemporary record, you know? I know that. When I started doing it, I wanted to use contemporary tropes, contemporary sounds, and contemporary ideas. What I wanted the most, and maybe I got there or not, is I just wanted it to be beautiful. It's really what I wanted was, like, hopefully I can make something beautiful this time.